Today's question is, what is the Create Canvas tool in Google Sheets? Yeah, so this is a fairly new tool. And if you just have, this is just a regular Google Sheet, and then I just had, this is actually from a previous video, and I just had Gemini create dummy data. So like none of this is real. Um, I'm sure there are people with these names and whatever, but this isn't based on any real people. I just went in here and I had Gemini just create a table with dummy data. Right, so I had this, and then if you go into, click on the little Ask Gemini icon here, and then it opens up this side window with Gemini. And what the question is asking is about, if you come down here to the Tools menu, there's now a new option to create canvas. Before, the only option here was create images. Now it has a couple of new things, but we're just going to talk about create canvas. So when you come in here and you select create canvas, you might have noticed the options here changed slightly. And if you click on the view all suggestions, it'll take a look at your data, and then it will suggest different types of canvases that it can create for you. And what I did with this one was I created a Kanban board. I don't know if it's Kanban or Kanban. I've heard both. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just selected everything. I highlighted everything in the table, and then I went in here to create a Kanban board. And it took longer than I thought it would. It probably took about 5 minutes. And then when it was done, let me close this out. It had a different icon here, and I think like this canvas menu icon was here, but it was grayed out. So like this is pretty easy to miss. If you actually create a canvas, like this will just become clickable. And when I click it, the canvas I have available to me is this talent pipeline Kanban board. Now, if you're familiar with these types of boards, this isn't really a good use for it. Usually it's with some kind of like project management thing where you'll have these different lanes, or like this is like for your things that are not started, and maybe this one is for in progress, and this one is needing review by this team, and this is needing review by that team, and these are done. Usually it's for tasks in different stages, or like something else where there are categories of things, and then you can very quickly look at the board and then see which things are in which category. So this isn't really a good use of this kind of board, but I think it is a good demonstration of this canvas feature, because you can see the layout here, and like this is a really good way to lay out this kind of board. And if I had a bunch of tasks, going across and then going down, like this is the way the cards here, like this actually looks really good for this type of board. But this is an example of what you can do with Canvas. So if you actually had, if you're a project manager or program manager or product manager or whatever, and you just had different things you need to put on a board like this, you can make your data into a canvas, and it'll pretty much just take whatever you had in here. So like if instead of these being names and ages and whatever, these could be projects, and then this could be like a project tracker, and it could have all of your different tasks and where they're at. And then Gemini can create this board for you. This isn't the only option. There were other things you could do. There are other types of canvases you can make, but that's basically the workflow for it. It's just like have your data in here, and then go down to the tools menu, click on create canvas, and then either type in the type of canvas that you want, or just go to the suggestions and it'll look at your data and then just give you ideas. Again, dashboards are really popular, gallery view, depending on what it is, this type of board. There's lots of other things. Usually it's some kind of, I have this data and I want to see this data. I want some kind of visual representation of this data for something. And I get that's kind of vague, but it's supposed to be, because you can do a bunch of different types of canvases. But I would say just play around. And it's like if you don't have data, or kind of like me, you don't want to use real data, you could just come in here and just ask Gemini to create, in this case, a table with 20 rows of dummy data. And you can just come in here and say, hey, create a project tracker. Don't base it on any of my real data, and put in 20 tasks or 50 tasks. And then once you have that in here, then you can come into Gemini and create a canvas and then make a board like this or make something else. But like, you don't have to use real data. You can just have Gemini create dummy data and then come in here and use the canvas feature and just kind of play around. So, I mean, that's what I would strongly recommend, is just create a blank sheet and just play around with it. But the basic answer to your question is the Canvas feature is a new tool within Gemini in Google Sheets, where you can have different ways of visualizing data that you have. So if that's something that you need to do, or maybe you never thought about it, but you actually want to try it, create a sheet, create some dummy data, click on Create Canvas here, and go crazy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.